This wickedly creative, tense, and yes, hard game does not suffer fools gladly, yet the adrenaline high created by the atmosphere and terrifying battles with nightmarish enemies compelled me to return to it after the screen blurred to red every time. That, I believe, is the definition of a great survival horror experience. The Evil Within is aesthetically, functionally, and spiritually in step with director Shinji Mikami's last foray into the genre, the iconic Resident Evil 4, but Mikami and his new development studio Tango Gameworks have delivered a much tougher and bleaker game this time around. Not that the plot is a strikingly original work for the horror genre. The Evil Within is an investigation of what appears to be a multiple homicide at Beacon Mental Hospital, where you soon realize things are not as they seem. While its central mystery starts off as compelling, it eventually buckles under its own ambitious weight, and its ending in particular is a disappointment. In part, its narrative wrapper is undermined by the rather lifeless player character, Detective Sebastian Castellanos. He's emotionless and cool to the point of parody.
There's something wrong with this place.
And it's hard to care about stakes when he doesn't appear to care about them himself, although his detachment is, on occasion, darkly comic.
What is going on here?
While not exactly subtle, Tango has created some incredibly strange and wonderful places in the Evil Within's 15 chapters. Even the usual horror cliches have been twisted and contorted in imaginative ways, granted new and ghastly life. Despite a little roughness around the edges, I noticed some texture pop-in and occasional clipping issues in the PS4 and Xbox One versions. The Evil Within has been beautifully designed. There's a keen eye for composition at work in the level design, and interiors are grimy, full of looming shadows, ornate architecture, and hidden traps. They create a terrifying mood of expectation. And for good reason. Enemies that pepper these places are plentiful, unpredictable, and wildly inventive. I won't be surprised if some of these foes come to define the Evil Within as time moves on, cosplayed for years and endlessly reimagined in fan art. It's the Evil Within's most unnerving juxtaposition that combat with these supernatural terrors is so grounded in reality. And while the crossbow caters to a wide variety of special attacks, and shooting is as satisfyingly crunchy as you would expect from Mikami, you have little ammo, first aid, or even stamina at your disposal. Checkpoints are scarce, so the stakes in this hostile world are high, making for exhilarating experiences. The Evil Within does cater somewhat to those who wish to choose the stealth route, although the AI feels unfairly tuned in on you. Playing stealthily works in fits and starts, but I did not find it the most accessible gameplay style to adopt. Of course, you're not completely powerless. One of the Evil Within's most enjoyable mechanics is its upgrade system. Green gel is the limited resource that you use to improve your abilities, weapons, stock, and crossbow bolts while in safe houses, and it's dispersed throughout the world like hidden gold, becoming your most sought after resource. While cashing in this gel makes for terrible dilemmas of choice. Do you upgrade your shotgun damage, or do you want to be able to run for longer? I liked how it let me shape my own gameplay style and gave me a brief, if generally illusory, sense of control of the situation. Because it's chaos, not control, that forms the point in the Evil Within. The action and pacing propels you forward at breakneck speed, moving from one climactic encounter to the next with little to no reprieve. Throughout my playthrough, I always felt on the back foot, and the times I was really on the back foot, I'm talking 6 in the sniper rifle chamber facing a close combat boss here, produced some of the most incredible moments I've experienced in any video game for years. The game had me sweaty palmed with my heart in my throat for most of its duration. The Evil Within is a brutal, challenging, and remarkably fun game. Its eerie world and imaginative enemies are genuinely frightening, and the scares are heightened significantly by the scarcity of resources at your disposal.
Out of ammo.
It keeps the odds stacked against you to the point that they often feel insurmountable, yet it's finely tuned to the point that they never really are, as long as you can keep a cool head and a steady aim in the face of building panic. While its story does end up buckling under its own ambition, there is little here that takes away from the joy of experiencing survival horror under the steady hand of a master of the craft. For more on The Evil Within, stick with IGN.